Your brain is trying to protect you. So why does it keep you up at 2 a.m., rehearsing a fight that hasn't happened, with someone who isn't even in the room, about a problem that might never happen at all? You replay it, you rewrite it, you lose to it again and again, and it still hasn't happened. Tonight we ask a question almost everyone has faced in the dark. Why won't your mind let go of a future you can't control? Maybe for you it isn't a boss. Maybe it's a child who isn't even born yet, and you're already scared for the world they'll grow up in. Maybe it's a test result that came back fine, but your mind already lived through 6 months of treatment that will never happen. Doctors have a name for this. It's called anticipatory anxiety. It means feeling scared about something before it happens. So scared your body reacts like it's already real. And it's very common. Millions of people deal with this kind of worry every day. Almost everyone feels a smaller version of it on a restless night. Here's the trap. Worry feels like work. It feels like you're preparing, protecting yourself, solving the problem. But ask yourself, has worrying ever actually fixed anything, or has it just made the waiting feel worse? Your mind thinks rehearsing for the worst means you're ready. Most of the time, it doesn't. So if worry doesn't work, why can't we stop? The answer isn't something wrong with you. It's biology. Why humans struggle with this? For most of human history, the people who survived were good warriors. If your ancestor heard a noise in the grass and thought, "Predator," right away, instead of waiting to find out, they lived longer. They had children. We're here because they worried. Evolution didn't build your brain for peace. It built your brain to be ready for danger. Here's the problem. Your brain never got the memo that the world changed. There's a small part of your brain called the amygdala. Its job is to spot danger and trigger fear. But it can't really tell the difference between a tiger in the grass and a stressful email. Both feel like danger to your body. Your heart races, your muscles tighten, stress hormones flood your system. Your body gets ready to fight or run from something that, most of the time, isn't even there. Here's the modern piece almost no one mentions. Your brain doesn't just wait around for problems to think about. The moment it has nothing urgent to do, it switches into a kind of autopilot, and that autopilot spends a lot of its time quietly previewing the future, auditioning different versions of tomorrow, next week, next year, before any of it has happened. Scientists call the network behind this the brain's default mode. It's not a malfunction, it's your brain's favorite way to fill empty space. The trouble is, at 2 a.m., with nothing else competing for its attention, that's exactly the mode it falls into. And it doesn't pick a calm preview. It picks the most urgent feeling one it can find. You're not broken. You're running old software in a brand new world. This is an old problem. Every civilization in history has tried to solve it. Let's see what they found. Ancient wisdom, compared. Idea 1, stop fighting what you cannot change. About 2,500 years ago, in what is now northern India, the Buddha taught something very simple. He said when something painful happens, it hits us once. That's just life. We can't avoid that. But then we hit ourselves again, with worry, with imagining the worst, with refusing to accept what we can't yet know. He called this the second arrow. We can't always stop the first arrow, but the second one is optional. And most worry is the second arrow. It's not the actual event, it's everything we add to it in our heads. Put plainly, you don't suffer once, you suffer twice. Once for what's real, and once more for what you only imagined. 500 years later, on the other side of the world, Greek and Roman philosophers found something very similar, not through meditation, through reason. One of them was Epictetus. He was born into slavery and became one of history's most important philosophers. He taught a simple rule. Some things are in your control, your choices, your effort, your character. Some things are not, what happens, other people, the future. He said suffering comes from mixing these two up, from holding tight to things that were never yours to hold. Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor. He wrote almost the same idea down for himself, night after night, in his private journal. We're rarely upset by what happens. We're upset by what we tell ourselves about what happens. Two civilizations. They never met. They were separated by an entire continent, and they landed on the exact same answer. Idea 2. Do your part, release the outcome. In the Bhagavad Gita, one of the most important texts in Hindu philosophy, a warrior named Arjuna freezes on a battlefield. He's terrified of what is coming. Krishna's advice to him isn't stop fighting. It isn't stop caring either. It's this: fully do the right thing in front of you, then let go of how it turns out. You have a right to your own effort, the teaching says, but you never had a right to the result. In this view, worry isn't really about the future. It's about holding on to a result you were never in control of to begin with. The answer isn't to do nothing. It's to act fully, then quietly let go the moment your part is done. Idea 3. Hand the unknown to something larger. In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus tells his followers not to worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will bring its own problems. Today's trouble is already enough for today. This teaching is about trust. The idea that you are cared for, even when you can't see what happens next. You'll find something similar in Islamic teaching. It's called tawakkul, trust in God. There's a well-known saying attributed to the Prophet Muhammad: tie your camel, then trust God for the rest. In other words, do your part first, then let go. And on the other side of the world, Taoism arrives at something similar, without a God at all. Water doesn't fight its way around a rock, it simply flows. Taoism's answer isn't belief in a plan, it's trust in the natural flow of things, and the wisdom to stop forcing a future that hasn't arrived. Different cultures, different words for what they're trusting: God, the Tao, fate, but the same basic move. Do your part, then loosen your grip. The universal lessons. Take away the languages, take away the centuries, take away the geography. Almost every tradition that has ever looked at this question lands on the same few truths. 1. The future isn't yours to control. Only your response to it is. 2. Most of your suffering isn't coming from what's actually happening. It's coming from what you imagine might happen, and from not being able to sit with not knowing. 3. Peace was never found by making the future certain. It was found by fully showing up for whatever is right in front of you, right now. But here's where they honestly disagree. And that's worth saying out loud, because pretending they all agree doesn't help anyone. Buddhism and Stoicism say the answer is inside you. Discipline, awareness, clear thinking, that's enough on its own. The Bhagavad Gita, the Bible, and the Quran say part of the answer is outside you. A duty, a plan, a will bigger than your own, one you're invited to trust. One path says you can build your own peace, entirely on your own. The other says peace also means letting go to something you don't control. Which one is true for you might be the most important question this video doesn't answer. Practical actions. So what do you actually do? At 2 a.m., at your desk, the moment the spiral starts. Here are 4 simple practices. Each one comes from what you just heard. 1. The control sort. From the Stoics, when a worry hits, write 2 lists. What's in your control right now? What isn't? Act on the first list. Set the second one down. Not because you don't care, but because holding on to it only steals your peace. 2. Name the second arrow. From Buddhism, when you feel yourself spiraling, ask, is this the real event? Or am I just hitting myself again with imagination? Just naming it can loosen its grip. 3. Find the next right action. From the Gita, don't ask, how will this turn out? Ask only, what's the one true next step in front of me? Do that. Let the rest go. 4. Say the release line. This one echoes the Bible, the Quran, and the Tao. At the end of each day, say one sentence out loud. I did what I could today. The rest isn't mine to carry tonight. then actually put it down. None of this makes the future certain. It just stops you from living through its worst version, alone, at 2 a.m. tomorrow, that once kept you wide awake at 2 a.m. The conversation you were sure would go badly. The diagnosis you were sure would be the worst one. The future you were sure was already falling apart. Most of those futures never showed up at all. The ones that did weren't anything like what you rehearsed in the dark. You are still here. You made it through every single night you were sure you wouldn't. So when the next one comes, you don't have to live through it twice. Let tonight just be a night. You can meet tomorrow when it actually arrives.